Hello, Freedom Preppers and everybody out at YouTube. Perrin Lovett here for Freedom Prepper, and it's a cold, rainy Monday morning. We are going to talk about today the recent shooting at the Waffle House in Nashville and how a hero customer basically demonstrated all of the rules for surviving a mass shooting and perfect situational awareness. First, I want to thank you so much for the recent support. For this little channel, we've had a huge growth in the number of views, the number of subscribers. Thank you so much. And if you're watching this now, if you'll just go down to the little button, like it, and then if you're not already subscribed, hit the other red button, subscribe to this channel, and spread the word, because we want all of your friends and family and everybody you know to know the good news about prepping and about this hero in Tennessee. You may have heard over the weekend in Nashville at a Waffle House, a crazed, semi-nude man walked in with a rifle and murdered 4 people. He was stood down by a hero customer and run off, and I think he has been apprehended. First, a little background about the suspect, the killer. I'll call him a killer. He was arrested last year at the White House. He jumped over a barricade and tried to make entry into the White House proper, wanted to meet with President Trump. He was ordered to leave, he did not, and so he was arrested for misdemeanor trespass, sent back home, which I believe was Illinois. He had recently moved down to the Nashville area. I'm not sure what the story was, but I do know that his concealed carry permit or card or whatever they have up there was revoked, and the authorities adjudicated him mentally incompetent for handling firearms. And they were going to seize his guns, and his father stepped in and said, I'll just hold him, I'll put him in a safe, he won't be able to get close to him because he was mentally ill. Excuse me. It's not clear, or at least I don't know at this point, if he somehow stole one of his old guns from his father, if his father slipped up and gave him a gun, or if, like most other criminals in the world, he just went out on the black market and procured a gun, stole a gun. It's relatively easy to do anywhere. And also, this is a interesting philosophical question before we really get going with the story du jour. If the authorities have previously ordered that he not have guns because he is mentally ill, might that not make for an excellent criminal defense? I'm not guilty due to insanity. Why am I insane? I don't know. Ask the government. They've already said I'm insane, which may or may not be the truth. If he really is insane, that is a defense, a valid defense, and we can only hope that he goes into an institution and is happy. If it's not, if it's an excuse, then we hope that he meets with the end of a rope, and that might happen in a state like Tennessee. But anyway, let me take a sip of this fine Bojangles coffee. Let's get into what happened. I'm just looking at the... make sure the coffee goes the right way. Waffle House coffee wouldn't do that to you. It'd go down the right way every time. CNN story. I'm going to give you their whole headline, and it is CNN. So they say, hero customer rushes Waffle House killer and rips away assault-style rifle. It's CNN. We'll give it to them. It was apparently an M4 AR-15, some kind of AR platform rifle. And the hero is James Shaw Jr. He's a 29-year-old man, I guess from the Nashville area. He was a customer late, I think it was Saturday night, in this Waffle House, and he is the hero. And like a lot of real heroes, he doesn't want the hero label, but unfortunately I'm going to keep giving it to him. I say that he's a hero just because he's him. His heroism started before the shooter ever showed up. In today's crazy times, the simple fact of going into a restaurant and just minding your own business makes you a hero. And it didn't stop there, because in comes Crazy Man with a rifle and started shooting. And now my title here is Run, Hide, Fight. And you're about to see exactly how that works out in real life, even if you have to shake up the order. And I've noted sometimes before that you need to be ready to shift gears on the fly really fast, and say start off with a fight, then take off running, or run until you can hide. And this, just let's see what happened. Crazy Man walks in and starts shooting, and Mr. Shaw did not know what was happening. Late at night in a Waffle House, plates bump around, you hear noises. But then he realized that someone was shooting and trying to kill people. And he immediately in his mind started to resist. Quote, "I figured if I was going to die, he was going to have to work for it," unquote. So, what did he do? What did Mr. Shaw do? Well, first of all, he ran. He ran. He got up and ran away from the shooter. All Waffle Houses are pretty much laid out the same. You got the bar, the front door, and then off to the side, the bathroom. So he's at a booth or a table or a bar stool, and he bolts. He runs to the bathroom where he hides. He's running, and then he's hiding. Run, hide, fight. But when he got to the bathroom, he did not cower down and shelter in place, as we're told to do by the dubious authorities. He still maintained situational awareness. He said he kept his ears and his eyes open for the shooter. I guess he had the door cracked. He could look out and see. And as soon as the gun jammed or it needed to be reloaded, as soon as the gunman stopped shooting, he shifted gears again and he attacked. He went on the offensive. He fought back. Run, hide, fight. This guy did all three in order, and it saved lives. He charged the gunman and grabbed the rifle. Apparently grabbed it by the barrel, which was still hot. Got a burn on his hand. It appears, he's not even quite sure how this happened, but it looks like to me that he got grazed by a bullet. So he got a burn on his hand, hit in the forearm or the elbow by a bullet, still fought back. Wrestled the gun away, threw it over the counter, and then forced the gunman outside, where the gunman himself went into flight mode. He took off, he got his adrenaline surge, and ran. And Mr. Shaw let him go. Let the authorities catch him, which they did. Running, hiding, and fighting. There's nothing cowardly about running away and hiding if it's what saves you. Discretion really is the better point of valor, and sometimes, as in this case, it allows the valor to come out at the right time. When the gun jams, when the gun has to be reloaded, when the shooter's attention is distracted somewhere else, then you can attack like Mr. Shaw did. And again, CNN says this is an assault-style rifle, assault-type rifle. And everyone is saying Mr. Shaw is a hero, and he is. But I found this very, very interesting. He says he is not a hero because he says that what he did was very selfish. He was basically just looking out for himself. I wasn't thinking about the poor people that had just been shot. I wasn't thinking about all these other customers. I just wanted to get out alive, so I took off, I hid, then I fought. Ayn Rand had of the Fountainhead, or Atlas Shrugged famed, had a non-fiction philosophy book called The Virtue of Selfishness. And for a Rand book, it was fairly short, maybe 250 pages. And like most Rand books, you could have condensed it down to about 20 good pages. But she makes an interesting point that being selfish, sometimes, many times, most times, does more good than altruism. It's something to think about. because, you know, people who are do-gooders and want to do good, they miss a lot of things. But someone who is centered on himself, self-preservation, he's going to take care of himself, and that will frequently ripple over into greater society, just like it did here. By Mr. Shaw being selfish and trying to protect himself, he ended up saving who knows how many lives. And you see that that phenomenon in all facets of life. Sports. It came up recently in sports with the Masters, and oh my Lord, there goes my brain. It's Monday morning. Wow. That's embarrassing. Embarrassing, I had a thought, and it just totally left me. I guess it will come back. But anyway, well, let's go on with Mr. Shaw. I'll try to come back to that thought after I may have another sip or two of coffee. He saved the day. He saved the day. He saved lives. He's being honored as a hero. He's already been lauded as a great person. But he keeps on being humble about it. He says, I don't want people to think that I was the Terminator or Superman or anybody like that. He was just looking out for himself. Maybe he was someone better than the Terminator, better than Superman. I'll note that in this CNN story, the very first thing he did after he left the Waffle House, or within just a few hours of being shot and burned and fighting off a killer, he and his father immediately went to church. He's a Christian. And I bet that didn't surprise most of you. Why did he go there immediately? Well, maybe he always goes there. Maybe he needed to go there for comfort. He really enjoys it. Or he wanted to give thanks to God for really saving the day. But he went to church. And then, apparently yesterday, Sunday, after he immediately stopped the killer, went to church, the next thing he did on Sunday was set up a GoFundMe page for the families of the victims of the shooting, for the 4 people that he couldn't save. It's just amazing. And that GoFundMe page immediately hit the goal. And let's see here. And then he gets into more philosophical questions. He's got a 4-year-old daughter at home. He really wanted to get home to see his daughter. That was his motivation. And he wants his daughter to grow up in a world with less tragedy. Here comes a quote again from Mr. Shaw. I hope we can bring violence in all facets, not just gun violence, but all facets of violence, to an end, unquote. And he certainly did his part. That little girl has an excellent father, and the people of Nashville need to take note. You've got an excellent, a real hero on your hands. And we can learn so much from this. And he was unarmed, by the way. He was unarmed that I know of, when he confronted this man with a rifle. There are only a few combat-oriented martial arts that teach you how to go unarmed against a rifleman. The old line system, MICMAP, Sabot, Krav Maga, very few. And they're not really family-friendly martial arts because usually the number one goal is to kill the attacker. But you can do it. With an adrenaline rush, even if you're untrained, you can do it. He didn't even need to have a CCW, no pistol. I don't know if he had a knife. I've seen some pictures of him. He doesn't look like the biggest, brawniest guy, but he's certainly not a soy boy wimp. It's just a great story. And in the back of my head, I was trying to think of the other virtue of selfishness story. Yes, young Mr. Reed winning the Masters. Down around Georgia, people don't like Patrick Reed. They really do. But a lot of the diehard blind homers will say, that Reed, he got thrown off the team at Georgia and nobody at Augusta State liked him. Okay, well, Georgia's a mega school. Athletes get thrown off of teams all the time, so what? We never know why. Down in Augusta, oh boy, I love y'all, but wow, you're apathetic. you have a superstar and you don't really want him, even as he leads you to not one, but two, back-to-back, national championships in golf. Overall, beating all the big schools. Going so far, allegedly, as to collude with one of the other schools to throw Reed's performance and lose because you don't like the winner. The winner, by the way, is selfish. He just wants to win. And by the way, and it benefits the team. That's where I was going with that. Superstar is selfish, gonna win at all cost. It benefits everybody more so than their actions did. And of course, in Augusta, they didn't get that. You're probably not getting it now, as I'm telling you. I hope you get it regarding Mr. Shaw. In the end, Patrick Reed won the Masters. Winners, you can't stop them. I don't think we'll be able to stop Mr. Shaw. If you are in Nashville, a slightly more progressive, intelligent city, if this guy wants to run for mayor, maybe you ought to back him. If he wants to, if he's an artist, support his art. Whatever, if he's a teacher, make sure he's got the whatever he needs. He's a great guy. You've got an asset. You need to take care of him because he is taking care of us by taking care of himself. And that's the lesson. Run, hide, and fight. Keep the eyes and ears open. And just act. Just act. It doesn't matter if you're out to save the world, save yourself, save people next to you. It works out the same if you're a good person. And this is what all weekend I thought about this story. How do I report on this? It was interesting, but I didn't know. So I thought about it, and I thought about it. And this morning it all came together. This is a terrible tragedy, but the good thing and the heroism came out, and also the lesson has come out. These are things that we have talked about. We've had a lot of Freedom Prepper articles before about the concept of run, hide, fight, situational awareness, and surviving incidents like this. But now we have just a picture-perfect example. As picture-perfect as you can be under such terrible circumstances. And those are the circumstances of our video. I hope you can hear me. I hope the quality is improving. I'm working on that. I'm going to put a link to this CNN story in if my computer does not die on me. Again, thanks to Bojangles for making the coffee. It was great coffee. I will be back no later than Friday with the news. Again, thank you so much for all the recent support. Let's keep this thing going. Let's build up a following here and keep spreading the good word. Quality, as always, will improve never. You guys have a great week, and I'll see you soon.